Hi, I'm Sarah with Custom Pilates and Yoga, and I'm so excited. Today I'm going to do a product review for the Orb Extreme by Pro-Tec Athletics and the Orb Extreme Mini, also by Pro-Tec Athletics. I'm going to compare them to my very favorite massage tool, the Orb, which is also by Pro-Tec Athletics. So I have done videos before about how to use the Orb, how to get the most from it. So I already have a pretty good idea, at least for me, of how I like to use these massage tools. So now it's just a question of, do I like these Orb Extremes as well as I like the regular Orb? So I'm going to start off with the Orb Extreme. I'm going to keep the Mini aside for a moment. And I'm going to start off with hamstrings. Now, you may notice I am on a pretty thick, foamy black mat. That's because I don't want the ball to shoot off and roll away here while I'm trying to do the review. If you're wanting to make sure you get the most out of your rolling or your massage, you probably do want to sit right on the floor. This hardwood floor would be a good surface. You want to watch out if you have too thick a carpet, then what ends up happening is you do kind of reduce the amount of benefit for your body. So I'm rolling my hamstrings, and as I do my hamstrings, I like to do strumming. So I'm moving my leg in and out, and I kind of scoot back and forth. So I'll work up the muscle and down the muscle, and I'm just looking to see if I can find any tight spots that really need to be released. And right now things are going really well. I would say this probably feels pretty comparable to the standard Orb. So I'm gonna, wow. I didn't feel like there was a whole lot that needed to be reduced, but when I got done, the back of my right leg feels completely deflated against the mat. It feels just completely relaxed and kind of almost gooey. So I'm going to do the left side too. And some of the areas that I like to work, I like to do my legs with the Orbs. I like to do my hips, my glutes. You should never, ever roll the back of your knee. But we're going to find out. I've done one pass down my hamstring here. So now I'm going to hop this ball over to my calf. Now when I do my calf, I can get sort of a bigger range of motion, and I can let the ball really roll to the inside and then to the outside of my calf. And as I do, because that gastroc is a big tight muscle, I feel a little pink as it switches to roll out to the side. Just tightness, no big deal. Now another thing you can do on your calves is you get it toward the outside, turn your hip open, and then just go back and forth. That helps you get the side of your gastrocnemius, that is the muscle that's kind of doing that blink, blink when you roll over it. I'm just going to go back and forth really quick there. Okay. Oh yeah, that feels really nice. It feels really nice over in the calf. It feels nice along the back of the left leg. Even rolling just a reduced amount of time, it still is very beneficial. So the next spot I want to look at is the glutes. And this is a little bit trickier to manage. You can really, especially if you're wearing like slick yoga pants, that can really be comical as you shoot the ball across the room. Now here in this position, I notice a substantial difference. Now I'm one to have tight glute muscles, a tight piriformis anyway. And so this right here is a lot of pressure for me. I wouldn't say it's too much, but I would say it's definitely toward the therapeutic line of things where it doesn't feel great but you know that it's working successfully to relieve tightness. So I feel a big difference between the Orb and the Orb Extreme here when I'm doing my glutes, and I'm probably gonna regret this, but I'm gonna go for the Piriformis here. So I've got it like in the divot of the hip socket, and I'm gonna rotate open. I already don't like this. Woo! Opening the leg and bringing it back up. I'll just do one more of these because I know I have all this waiting for me on the left side too. Now I'll just do a good once over, and I like to get really close by the tailbone too to get that other part of the Piriformis. Whew, okay. Yeah, that was intense. And again, over here, my right glute, my right hip, all of that feels very much deflated, very relaxed against the mat. So time for the left side. And this side doesn't feel as bad at all. I can still tell that this is a more intense release than the regular blue Orb that I use, but it's, if I wouldn't have done the right side first, I may not have really noticed that there was much difference. But the right side is my nasty side. Okay, now I'm getting to some nasty junk over here in my left hip. And I'm closer now to like my sits bones, okay? So I'm closer now to the bottom of the pelvis. And I'm just gonna let myself rotate a little bit, rock back and forth, and get that before I go for the Piriformis. And get the ball right in that hip socket and rotate. Oh my gosh, and this is even worse than the right side. Okay, inhale and exhale up. Do 4 over here because I think I need it more. Rotate back to center. Now I'll give everything a good roll and get close to the tailbone. And then release. Okay, so now I'm gonna check out my shoulders. Normally, if I were rolling with the Orb, I would be on a wall, but in order to just show you guys a little bit better and a little bit faster, I'm not gonna mess with that. I'll show you how I do it here on the mat. So I'm gonna get set up here and just let my head relax back. And I'm just gonna kind of sway side to side. Make sure if you have long hair, keep your hair out of the way. Even if you have short hair, keep your hair out of the way. And you can really just play around with this and try to find the muscles that need the most help. And this definitely, for me, with the nubs and everything, this is definitely more intense than the regular Orb. Don't roll across your spine. Okay, so that's 2 spots. Don't roll across your spine. Don't roll the back of your knees. So whenever you need to switch, just get up and change. It is worth it. And so far, I don't know if you guys watched the video last week when I opened the box, I was concerned because there's the logo on the Orb Extreme. And I thought, boy, that logo takes up so much surface area and it's smooth. I wonder if that is going to impact my rolling, if I'm gonna feel that like, oop, I'm on the logo. But no, so far I have not at all felt that way. Everything that I've done has felt very even and, you know, equally therapeutic. Okay, and there's one more spot that I want to check with this orb before I move on to the smaller one, and it's going to be low back area. And so I'm going after the psoas muscle, which comes off of your lumbar vertebrae, runs on diagonal through your body, and inserts toward the top of your femur. That muscle is your main hip flexor. So when we have something such as a massage ball and it's right next to the spine, we have the possibility that we might be able to access that muscle and get it to relax. And when I do that, I like to roll that space between the ribs and the hip and just kind of rock side to side. It does not feel awesome, which leads me to believe it's probably necessary and I should probably do it more often than I am. And again, I can tell that this is a firmer ball, that this is more intense than the blue one. The blue one does have quite a bit more give than this black one. And now the left side. After doing that right side, it's like my low back feels like it turns into a pancake. I have no other way to describe it. It's just amazing when you get those muscles to relax. Even if you thought you were relaxed previously, whenever you roll with the orb, it's like, oh, I was confused. That isn't what relaxed is. This is. Now that I've rolled with the orb, this is what relaxed is. All right, then I'm gonna release that. Yes, and it feels very nice. Okay, so let me check out the mini. Now, I'm going to suspect that this would be something that you might use instead of like a lacrosse ball. So if you're somebody who uses a lacrosse ball for release, this would be good. Again, these have the grippiness. We're going to test this. So we've got the nubs. I'm going to put it on the back of my arm and see. I don't know. Yes. Okay. I wasn't sure, with this being a sort of plasticky coating, at first it felt like it was slippery, like it was just sliding off my skin, which isn't helpful. I need it to kind of grip on there to move my skin. But then when I compared it to the other orb, no, that's just a loose spot on me. So my skin was just moving very nicely. This orb does do a little bit better job gripping the skin and letting it shift back and forth. So that's another thing too. If you're looking for a full myofascial release, this one is going to probably do a little bit better job getting your skin and letting it move. Now, if you're rolling like in leggings and a sweater, like I am, you're not going for that full myofascial release, okay? Because this can't stick to your skin and move it. But if you had like bare arms, bare legs, and you were using this, then you could get those muscles to release all the way. Now, I'm gonna try this out up in my shoulders first. That's where I like to use the lacrosse ball. And I've even used the lacrosse ball just laying down on my back, although I do prefer to use it on the wall. And the good thing about a smaller ball is it kind of gets into the nooks and crannies a little bit better. So in this position, I can really get in that area right by my shoulder blade. It feels like I can almost tuck up right under the edge there. Yeah. There, I got it. You just kind of rock side to side, or you can, holy cow, that's painful. You can move your arm and that'll help you too. So here I've got the orb placed. I'm gonna just stay stable and I'm gonna open my arm and find a A new world of pain. All right, I'm releasing that. I have to see if it exists over on the other side. Well, it definitely does, because this side is tight before I am even getting to arm movements. And keep in mind, guys, I just rolled this with the Orb Extreme and felt relief. So that just goes to show there's still work in there to be done. There is still the benefit to have a small kind of crevice tool, if you will, like the Orb Extreme Mini. Okay, here goes nothing. The arm, yeah, that's just nasty. Woo! I'm gonna do one more because I need this so bad, apparently. Oh, goodness. Woo! Yeah, you guys gotta check that out. That is a humdinger. Next up, we're gonna inspect the Piriformis because I'm gonna predict that this is gonna be really great for that divot in your hip. Yes, and it's really painful. Once again, I'm gonna open my legs so slowly and back up. And again, just a reminder, I already went through a painful Piriformis release with the Orb Extreme. So this is all just bonus extra fun that the Mini is digging up for me. I'll do the other side too here. Okay. You know it's painful when I'm not talking. All right, so I'm gonna just roll. And even just rolling and getting in by the sacrum, even just kind of getting all over, it still feels really intense. Even though the first one did, there's something about when you put your weight, which is whatever number it is, on a smaller surface area. The smaller your surface area and the heavy you are, the more intense it's going to feel than if you spread it out over a larger surface area. Okay, so one more thing I want to check out, and one thing I've always kind of wished the Orb could do, but it hasn't been able to, because it's so big, it doesn't tend to get into my feet very well. So I'm going to just come up here and see if I can roll my feet like I do with the lacrosse ball. And yes, absolutely, you totally can. And it gets in there in just the best possible way, breaking up any sort of adhesions, restoring health, sending blood flow for repair. I'll do the other side real quick too. So if you're wondering, what would I say about buying orbs? Here's what I think. First off, I'm an orb junkie. I am so excited to have all three of these orbs, and to me, they all serve different purposes. They all have different functions. Okay, so like if I had injured myself, I would stay away from these two black orbs. Okay, but when the time was right, I would get my blue orb out and I would start working on it. So I would use this as like my light therapy tool. Then when I wanted to make it more challenging, I might step it up to the black, larger Orb Extreme. Okay, then when I'm ready to like really get everything cleared out and get everything fully functional and back, I would go to the Orb Extreme Mini. If I were just buying one orb, this is a tough question. because I like all three of these, and I think they all have benefit. If I were just buying one orb, I would probably go with the Orb Extreme Mini, just because I like that it can get the soles of my feet. I like that it's a little bit grippier. You know, these Extremes, they're grippier than the original Orb, but also I feel like if I were working with the Orb and something hurt, I would just move on. I might come back to it some other day, but I'd just leave that spot, and I feel like I could kind of chip and whittle at my pain and my issues by using this tool. And so I guess if I could only have one, this would be my one. Plus, super convenient to carry in your car or pack in a suitcase. And truth be told, I would probably want to have two so that when I'm driving in my car, I could place something in my low back and lean back if I got tired on long car rides. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope that you're as excited about the Orbs as I am. Remember, the Orbs are from Pro-Tec Athletics. So if you're interested in an Orb, head on out to their website. I once again recommend all three. But if you could only choose one, I'd pick the little one. Thank you so much for joining me, and make sure come on over to my website, www.custompilatesandyoga, to find out all the best Orb exercises. Thank you.